Today's recipe is a fantastic chaat. You guys know I love chaat, and there are many varieties of chaat in India. There isn't just one. But today I'm making papdi chaat, and I have shared the papdi recipe with you, so you can find it in the description below. And these I made last night, a whole bunch or 2 boxes of papris, and the reason I made it was because I wanted to make papri chaat today. So I've got a batch of papri. I'm going to blitz coriander peanut chutney. That recipe is also on the channel, and I am going to show you how to make a tamarind and date chutney, which is, if you want a written recipe, it's from my first book, Cardamom Trail. So I am going to start cooking the chutney first. In the book, the quantity of the chutney is a small bowl, but this is one chutney that I always have it in the fridge, always have it in the fridge, because once you make a nice big jar full of this chutney, you can leave it in the fridge and this will keep you going for me, it keeps me going for 6 months. Yeah, it stays perfectly well in the fridge, and whenever I need it, I just use it for my chaat. So that's what I'm going to do. I've doubled in, I think it's many times of this recipe. So you can make just a small portion of it, and if you want, you can make a jar full, which I am doing right now. So last night I prepared the crispy papris with the peanut and coriander mint chutney, which is really simple. Everything goes in a blender, add it all in, and then blitz, and it's ready. So I've got a pan, and I'm going to get some nice meshdool dates. I'm going to take the seeds out and just put the rest in a pan. And I've got 50 grams of this. I'm actually going to double the quantity for myself because I want a bit more to store in the fridge. So I'm using 100 grams of dates. And to this, I'm just going to add some jaggery. So I'm using the same amount of jaggery as the dates. So I've chopped it up into smaller pieces because then it will cook quicker. I'm going to add it to the pan. Next thing to add in here is some tamarind pulp. So you can buy it in this like this sticky mess, and that is what we use for the chutney. If you can't find that, then you can use the paste, but really, if you can find this, it's best. And if you use the paste, then use only half the quantity, because it's kind of concentrated mixture, because you can always add a bit more if you need in the end. Thing to add before we start cooking is just some water. And all I have to do next is cook this. So cook this till the tamarind is soft, the jaggery has melted, the dates have softened up. So it takes around, bring it to a boil and cook for half an hour on low heat. So this is bubbling away nicely, and I will let it simmer till everything is really squishy and cooked down. So I've got here whole yellow peas, which is in Hindi called safed matar, and this is the specific peas that I used for chaat. So what I'm going to do is soak this overnight and then cook it in this pressure cooker next morning. So that has been soaking. Look at the size, it's kind of rehydrated, and yeah, so I am going to add a teaspoon of salt and then cook this in the pressure cooker for 15-20 minutes. If you haven't got a pressure cooker, that is no problem at all. the key is to soak them overnight, which is really important because this takes forever to cook. It's like if you have cooked chickpeas, dried chickpeas after soaking them, this is like that. So it takes really long. Now I have got a pressure cooker with a whistle, and I'm going to give it at least 4 to 5 whistles, the same as the chickpeas. But if you haven't got the pressure cooker, no problem, just soak it overnight like I've done, and then next day just be prepared to have a little extra time to cook this. So give it an hour and a half to cook in a pan with the water. So I'm going to turn the heat off because I have got 6 whistles. Like I said, if you don't have a cooker, then just use a pan. So after 20 minutes or so, you can see that the texture, the consistency of this chutney has totally changed. It's not watery, it's nice and thick. The tamarind and the dates have kind of broken up, and that's very good. And just use a potato masher and mash this up slightly, just because it'll break up the tamarind and the dates even more. And now just pass this through a metal sieve, because that will just get rid of all the seeds, all the pulp, and what you will left with is going to be really nice, thick, delicious chutney. So the key is that why am I keeping the pulp on the side? Because there's still so much flavor left in that pulp. And what I'm going to do is I have sieved all the chutney. Come here. So this is my sieved chutney here. Gorgeous. And this is the pulp, but there's still so much stuff, material left in it. So what I'm going to do is, and this chutney is very, very thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add water to this and get some flavor out of it, and then add it to and sieve it in the main chutney. So I'm adding 200-300 ml of water in here. So can you see how much? Still so much of the chutney is there. I'm going to add more, another couple of hundred, and there's so much that will come out of this. So that is much better. Now I'm going to go back and sieve it. God, the mess this chutney makes, it's all worth it. I'm going to sieve this back with the liquid, a couple of rounds. Then I can get more goodness out of all this lovely pulp. And these seeds are actually tamarind seeds. So when we were little, we would wash them, and we would wash these seeds and then make a game of it. It was so fun. So that is the pulp that is out of here. Now that's really to the gym, so I'm just going to put it back in the big pan. Much better. And the chutney is not done yet. I've still got to add a couple of really important flavors to it. So I've got the pan ready. I'm going to add just a few spices, but those spices are really important. So I've got here some lovely roasted fennel. So I'm going to add 1 heaped teaspoon of roasted fennel and 1 teaspoon of ground cumin into the chutney. And I'm just going to crush this fennel roughly. Okay, that goes in the chutney. Also going to turn the heat back on. And a last couple of things a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of chili powder. Then just let this cook for 2 minutes. Just let it come to a boil. And I promise that would be the most divine tamarind chutney you'll ever need in any chaat recipe that you try, whether it's mine or someone else's. This is my mum's recipe and it is spot on. Isn't it, Sia?
Yeah.
I am so tempted and I'm going to do this. Oh. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to wash my hands. So the recipe needs a few things. It needs papdi, which I made last night. It needs coriander peanut chutney I made last night. The tamarind chutney is being prepared there. And I have also got the beans that are cooked and ready there. Now you can use potatoes, but a lot of people also, you can find the papdi chaat with this white mutter, or we call it white mutter, we call it Sindhi mutter, and that's what I am using today. After cooking it for last 2 minutes, this chutney is ready. I am going to turn the heat off and I'm going to leave this in the pan and let it cool down completely. And that's the skin of the peas, which is fine because the peas have all kind of become mushy. It's so funny, the skins are all on top. Right, so that is what we want. We want the peas to be mushy and kind of lose their shape, because that's what you do in a chaat. So I'm going to take this out in a bowl and I'm going to add a little bit of water to this because this is really quite thick and I don't want it so thick. Depending on what chaat you're making, you want the peas to be the right consistency. So I'm just going to add some water, make it a bit more fluey. Yeah, that's it. So I have got the sev ready. I've got some red onions chopped. I've got some green chutney. I've added a couple of tablespoons of water to make it a bit runny, and I've got tamarind chutney freshly made, and I've added some water to that as well. Now it's time to assemble this whole thing. Okay, so papdis. So I'm going to take 3 to 4 big ones. Just break them up. Actually 5. Let's make it 5. 5 is a good number. So excited. I absolutely love this. Right. In goes the white peas. You can cool them down, but don't serve it super chilled. So either have it at room temperature, or I'm serving it lightly warm, still warm. So that's the white peas. Then goes in our lovely yogurt. Gorgeous. Okay, and then some chopped onions, and then the green chutney. Wowzers, look at that color. And then the tamarind chutney. Don't be shy with the chutneys at all, at all. Really important pinch of salt, good pinch of chili powder, and good pinch of chaat masala, and then some sev. I couldn't find this barik sev which we usually use for chaat, but this should be fine. And then some coriander, and also I know it's really pale, but that's all I could find today. Some pomegranate seeds. And ta-da! That is the papdi chaat ready. Excuse me if I dribble on my own plate because this is, I love it. And that is most delicious papdi chaat ever. That is. Please do give this a go. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a comment and I'll see you very soon with another new recipe.